Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 26, 19 Amusement Park 1. Yang Xinshin nodded slightly and looked at Zhang Yi, saying, "So you think that the boundless sphere is not just a simple machine? Or rather, its core is no longer made of a single material. I even think it's alive." Zhang Yi uttered these three words as if giving himself a preliminary conclusion. But his face showed even more confusion, because at this moment, the remains of the boundless sphere are in his alternate dimension, and no matter how you examine them, they are just the most primitive mechanical parts. No biological structures were found. Even those mechanical ascendants of the Zhongyuan clan need to retain their brains to ensure that their self-awareness still belongs to them. Instead of replicating one's own rituals onto mechanical life forms, that would be pure self-deception. As they were talking, Freeman floated over on the seawater, the electronic light on his hat brim flashing incessantly, making him look even lighter than the sea breeze. "That was amazing, my Earth hero." Fireworks effects flashed across the screen. "The guardians of the heavenly ring and the boundless sphere have fallen at your feet. Only one guardian remains. Defeat her to obtain the complete key. Then you'll be able to push open the Tower of Heaven and enter the core area of the Martian inner world. The rest of the story will be yours to write." Fatty Sue curled his lip. "The way you talk sounds like an insurance salesman." Freeman pretended not to hear, and instead stretched out his mechanical hand even more enthusiastically to Zhang Yi. "Please, my friend, help me find the answer, and also help you find the resources of the Sand Raider civilization you want." His eyes were filled with earnestness. After all, he had been here for more than 20 years, just to find his lover Nazchi, whom he had loved during his consciousness transfer. Zhang Yi put the crystal away, shrugged, and said, "Fine. We've come this far anyway." He glanced back at the gray-yellow sky, a vague unease swirling in his chest before he finally suppressed it. "Lead the way." Leaving the sea, the scenery of the other world changes once again. The ruined city reappears, with dilapidated high-rises and broken bridges lined up in the distance, as if welcoming them toward some kind of end. The artificial sun hangs even lower, its rays slanting across the metal skeleton, casting extremely long shadows, making the world increasingly resemble a perpetual twilight. "Don't you guys think this place is a bit strange?" Lu Karen muttered to herself, but still instinctively grabbed the hem of Zhang Yi's clothes. "Brother Zhang Yi, is the sun going down? Maybe he's in a bad mood." Zhang Yi gave a perfunctory reply, but a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Freeman walked ahead, his steps unusually light and unhurried. He raised his hand and pointed ahead. "We're almost there. The last guardian is in the center of that city, in a huge amusement park." "Amusement park?" Fatty, Sue was taken aback. "The last line of defense for advanced civilization is placed in an amusement park? That place is very special." For a moment, Freeman's eyes widened in disbelief. "I feel like I've been here before." "What? You didn't build this place, did you?" Zhang Yi spoke with a smile, half joking and half serious. To everyone's surprise, Freeman thought about it seriously and said, "It's somewhat similar. I was still there back then." "Never mind. You'll see when we get there." They climbed over a twisted overpass, and their view suddenly opened up. A massive amusement park lies quietly in the center of the ruined city. The giant Ferris wheel was broken in half, with the carriages hanging in midair, swaying gently in the wind. The paint on the carousel horses has been stripped off, leaving only their silver-white skeletons, yet they still maintain their running posture. The candy-colored ticket booth was covered in old rust, and the cute cartoon smiley faces on the neon sign were half-charred black, but still grinned. An eerie tenderness, a deadly liveliness. The artificial sunset cast its light, turning the amusement park into a golden gray curtain, resembling both a fairy tale and a graveyard. What's most surprising is that this amusement park is remarkably similar to most amusement parks on Earth. The doubt in Zhang Yi's heart deepened, and he gave Freeman a long look. The Sandstalker civilization and the Earth civilization are not that similar. It's impossible that their amusement parks would be built in the same style, right? I seriously doubt that this place has anything to do with you. Freeman pulled down his hat brim, as if he had thought of something, and then said, "During my 7 years on Mars, I did leave some of Earth's culture behind here. It feels strangely familiar. Perhaps this was created based on the inspiration I left behind. This place gives me the creeps. I don't want to go in at all." Li Yongyong said softly, stroking her arm, looking quite charming. "It's okay, I'm here." Fatty Sue straightened his back immediately, just about to show off his manly ferocity. The next second, a mechanical clown wearing a top hat sprang up from behind the stall, his face beaming with an excessively wide smile, twirling a serrated candy knife in his hand. "Visitor detected. Welcome to Death Paradise." As soon as he finished speaking, the clown's chest opened, and 3 energy cannons lit up, firing directly at them. Mechanical life forms of the Sand-Gatherer civilization. I take back what I just said. Fatty Sue took a deep breath and slammed his hands to the ground. An ice tide surged out, freezing the trajectory of the energy cannon. Liu Karen behind him had already swiftly summoned his flying crows. A flock of black and gold mechanical crows swept through the air, precisely slicing through the clown's joints. At that moment, the once lifeless amusement park seemed to suddenly come alive. A constant creaking sound filled the air, as if some old metal machinery had suddenly started operating, the grating sound of rusty gears meshing together. A doll wearing a pointed hat climbs up from the Ferris wheel, the horse doll on the carousel twists its head, and all sorts of comical dolls, circus performers, and balloon figures in the amusement park gradually come to life. Their eyes lit up with blood-red light, like a group of monsters that had pulled a failed experiment out of a fairy tale book, all turning their gazes toward the visitors from Earth. The scene was extremely eerie, and the uncanny valley effect gave Zhang Yi goosebumps. However, he was a man who had seen a lot in his life, so he wasn't afraid, just a little creeped out. "Uncle Yu." Zhang Yi turned his head to look at Uncle Yu, who stood beside him like a mobile artillery platform. "Understood. Watch my firepower." Uncle Yu's shoulder armor popped out fire control towers, his back thrusters ignited, and he transformed into a mobile firepower platform, joining Liang Yu and the others to face the mechanical monsters. Sword flashes, cannon fire, frost, and flying crows. A spectacular yet chaotic display of fireworks erupted at the amusement park. Chapter 2620 Amusement Park 2. Zhang Yi did not linger. These sand-snatching robots, which cannot be killed in the short term, will still be left to Uncle Yu and his team to deal with. He needs to find the last guardian as soon as possible, defeat him, and obtain the key fragment. Fatty Sue used the iceberg to clear a path, separating the twisting, attacking sand sweeper robots, and creating a road for Zhang Yi to reach the center of the park. He walked along the red carpet-like path in the center of the amusement park, and right in front of him stood a huge theater. It's less of a theater and more of a massive castle. Although time has left its mark, it still exudes a magnificent and awe-inspiring presence. At this moment, colorful searchlights lit up the sky above the theater, illuminating the approaching night. At the theater entrance, a row of mechanical waiters in tuxedos stood motionless, with their heads bowed, like audience guides who had been waiting for a long time. Zhang Yi still didn't bring anyone with him, and walked towards the theater step by himself. The mechanical waiters, dressed in somewhat worn tailcoats, respectfully lowered their hat brims and bowed in unison to invite Zhang Yi into the theater. In Zhang Yi's left eye, the second hand of time turned, confirming that these guys wouldn't attack him. He walked step by step to the 10-meter-high gate. The red paint on the door had mostly peeled off, and it made a creaking sound before slowly opening. A dim light entered Zhang Yi's eyes. Inside the hall, the red carpet was as red as blood. Golden reliefs covered the ceiling, and crystal chandeliers hung down, casting a dusty glow. Behind the stage, a half-closed curtain emitted very soft music, the sound pleasant and cheerful. Zhang Yi walked into the theater, and the doors behind him closed quickly. This is a prototype grand theater, with a huge auditorium surrounding the second floor. The seats are occupied by dilapidated mechanical life forms, some of which appear to be completely unusable. On the stage in front, a heavy red curtain hung down. The ground was covered in dust, but the stage itself was spotless. Zhang Yi stood at the front of the stage, sword in hand, quietly waiting for some inevitable event to occur. Just then, click, 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 the theater suddenly lit up. Countless pale blue lights were lit one after another, casting their light on the empty audience seats. The red curtain slowly rose, and in the center of the stage, a woman stood quietly. She was tall and slender, wearing a deep red floor-length dress with a hem like a waterfall in the night. The chest was decorated with intricate metallic patterns, and her shoulders and back were open, revealing her near-perfect human figure. Her long, silvery white hair reached her waist, her skin was as pale as porcelain, her lips were dark red, and her eyelids were lowered, as if she were a protagonist born to stand under the spotlight. Behind her, a tall, bronze-colored round mirror floated, its frame engraved with intricate patterns, its surface as still as water. Behind the stage, a mechanical orchestra stood in formation. A pianist wearing a top hat, a mechanical string player, a drummer with a metal skeleton, and a musician holding a brass instrument. Behind her on both sides were a circle of dancing robots in formal attire, wearing masks and remaining motionless. The music in the air gradually became clearer. It was a slow and eerie waltz. The woman looked up, her eyes shining with a blood-red yet exceptionally clear light, and a polite smile curved her lips. "Welcome to my theater." The voice was both extremely beautiful and extremely cold. Zhang Yi stared at her. The tissue bathrobe quietly unfolded, and the second hand of time had already started. "You are the last guardian. The guardian of music, the death diva." The death songstress slowly bent down towards Zhang Yi. She was enormous, probably over 6 meters tall. Her eyes were blue, like some kind of pure crystal. Instead of attacking Zhang Yi, she asked him a strange question. "Were you sent by Lucas?" Zhang Yi was taken aback for a moment. "Huh? Lucas?" He racked his brains but couldn't recall ever knowing such a person. But Zhang Yi is a man of principle. He wouldn't simply say he doesn't know him. "Who are you to him?" Zhang Yi countered by saying he wanted to see how smart this AI was, hoping to fool it and find an opportunity to get rid of it. But upon hearing Zhang Yi's reply, her expression immediately changed, and a chilling, killing intent flashed in her eyes. She gracefully spread her arms and gently curtsied. "It seems you are not. Then let me offer you the last dance of your life." The mechanical life form band members behind him suddenly turned their heads and looked at Zhang Yi, their eyes emitting an eerie red light. Their hands moved simultaneously, and they immediately began to play. A piece of music with a tight and exciting melody instantly resonated throughout the entire theater. The death songstress slowly turned around, her footsteps echoing a crisp rhythm on the stage. The ball of death has begun. The notes were like blades, the drum beats like hammers. Every high note leap of the piano transformed into an invisible shockwave that crashed into Zhang Yi's chest. A slender blade extends from the dancer's swirling skirt, slicing through the air as she leaps, slashing at his throat, joints, and blind spots in time with the music. However, Zhang Yi had already seen through everything, and he remained calm and composed. The tissue bath robe blocked most of the damage for him, but he still had to constantly allocate the power of the netherworld to resist these dense energy and physical impacts. The melody of the music echoed throughout the theater, and the death songstress's attacks, like waves, surged towards Zhang Yi along with her dance moves. Amidst the glint of swords and the clash of blades, they were flung out from beneath her magnificent skirt. Crimson laser beams swept across the air in a dazzling display within his eyes. Grand burial in the underworld. Zhang Yi began to counterattack, raising his hand and swinging his sword. The river of the netherworld instantly surged into the sky, swirling around him and blocking all attacks. At the same time, he launched a counterattack against the Death Songstress. Seeing that ordinary attacks had no effect, Death Songstress's expression subtly changed. The Death Songstress parted her lips slightly, her voice shifting subtly. At the same time, the magnificent, enormous bronze mirror behind her slowly lit up and floated in front of her. "You're afraid of death." The bronze mirror emitted a burst of light, and a beam of deep blue light shone on Zhang. The light was neither painful nor itchy, yet in an instant it stripped away all his instinctive composure, causing his heart to clench suddenly, and a deep-seated will to survive to be amplified infinitely. The defense of the Taishu bath-robe hesitated for a moment, as if it also wanted to live, so it instinctively contracted and could no longer fight back with all its might. Zhang Yi's defenses plummeted. The band's next wave of sonic blades and the dancers' swords roared in, actually piercing through the Taishu bathrobe and slicing out large sparks on the surface of the demon god armor. Zhang Yi's pupils suddenly contracted. This is a rule-based ability. Zhang Yi finally confirmed one thing. The Guardians were not simply mechanical life forms, they were truly living beings. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.